So we have a panel discussion now on academia-industry collaboration and the perspective from the academia. For this panel, I would like to call on stage Dr. Ravikumar Chitnis, Vice Chancellor, MIT World Peace University. Dr. Vivek Saoji, Vice Chancellor, Bharati Vidyapeeth. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sushma Kulkarni, Vice Chancellor, NICMAR University. Welcome, ma'am. Professor Prabhat Ranjan, Vice Chancellor, DY Patil International University. Welcome, sir. Anjani Kumar Srivastav, General Manager, Regional in Charge, Pune Regional Office of SIDBI. He was with us earlier for the keynote address. And Karan Shah, CEO and founder of the Digital School. He's a TEDx speaker. Can we have Mr. Karan? Okay, so we have all the panelists on the stage, and I'm not going through because we are running a little behind schedule. I'm not going beyond a detailed introduction. All the panelists speak for themselves. So going straight to the discussion topic, when we are looking at industry-academia collaboration, we heard a little bit from the industry perspective, some of the big industry players mentioned, and now let's talk about from the academia perspective, what are the dynamics and challenges that impact this collaboration in its current format. So I will start with Dr. Chitnis. And basically, this is the question I'll come to each panelist, specifically from the academia side. So starting with Dr. Chitnis, when we say academia collaboration, how do we identify what needs to be done in the academic curricula to make it industry ready? And from your own institution perspective and overall academic perspective, what is the status of this revision in academic curriculum, industry-ready revision, if I may say? Yes.
Good morning and good afternoon to all. First of all, on behalf of MIT World Peace University, may I extend our gratitude to APAC News Network for giving us opportunity, and also to share what is the particular status of skill development in MIT World Peace University. And I congratulate MSSDC and all the organizers team of APAC News Network. But before that, let me share with you that most of us, including me, we are impressed by what Sheetal is doing at IBM. And Sheetal might have gone to next room for one-on-one discussion. And also, Phillips Education president was here. And kind of a contribution they are doing is an eye-opener to all of us sitting here. We all are senior vice chancellor and we are close friends also. Me, Prabhat, Ranjan, Saoji, sir, madam has come in now in our country. But we are not thinking on these lines for last few years. But couple of years you can say that this particular area called skill development is to open up in most of the private colleges and private universities. So we are doing little bit, but we are completely engrossed in our day-to-day work. Prabhat, Ranjan sir, me and Saoji, we are traveling also frantically. So we have to concentrate on this area, which is most important. And then we require complete different set of people who understand this. Our faculty members, some of my deans are sitting here from MITW, Dr. Pubisetti, Dr. Mugdha, our visiting faculty, Chartered Account, Subhash is also here. So we are engrossed more into giving degrees, preparing them for placement, soft skills, hard skills, and then conducting alumni meet, and then PG and then PhD programs. At MIT, we have more than 500 candidates doing PhD in engineering, management, arts, science, commerce. But when it comes to all the private universities, on their behalf, not only on behalf of MIT WPU, may I share that we have great opportunity for a continued updated syllabus. 1983 to 2017, MIT was part of University of Pune, and whatever university will tell us, we will do that. We don't have any locus standi or any autonomy what we can do for our students, though we see there is a particular gap in the syllabus. What maximum we'll do that some of us are on the board of studies or we are on academic council, we can only open our mouth and say, okay, this is also required. Whether it will happen or not is not known to us. But as we became private universities, the first private university came somewhere in 2015-16. Now, we are seeing 33 private universities in the state of Maharashtra. And since it's done by Maharashtra State Skill Corporation, let me tell you that all these 33 universities, we have an association called PERA. And at association also, we agreed that skill development is going to be most important part. And that's why we acknowledge the importance of this for last few years, 3, 4, 5 years. But we should have learned this many decades back. With this note, I will come to answer of your question. So, one is industry engagement collaboration. I'm straightway sharing the points and my colleagues can speak on this. Second is skill gap identification. Third is labor market analysis. Remove the word labor and then call it market analysis, where the jobs are going to be. If AI is going to create different type of jobs, and then the existing jobs are to be done by the AI systems, then that I will call as an analysis, market analysis. Then comes the curricular mapping. Since we have our own board of studies now, since we have our own academic council, we have our own board of management, and top of that, we have a board of governors or governing body. And at board of studies, we have dean as a chairperson, and academic council and board of management, vice chancellor are the chairperson. It's very easy and smooth journey to incorporate any additional such certificate program for us. I'm not going into how much investment, whether gestation period is 2 years, 3 years, and how fast management will recoup the investment. But it is possible for private universities. I will also echo, and my colleague will echo about the deemed to be universities also. Our country has eminent universities, then state public, and then state private, and deemed to be universities, and autonomous institutions like IITM. So little complex structure. So who will do what in terms of skill development is a question mark. But all of us will do. So when it comes to the answer, industry engagement, labor market analysis, skill gap identification, curricular mapping, competency-based education, emerging technologies analysis, and then comes to soft skill programs to be incorporated in the BOS itself. Then experiential learning. What I liked about Philip Kejriwal Sahab, I liked the experiential learning which you were telling. And it was coming from the horse's mouth, that student from Uttarakhand, saying that in IIT I was doing manually, but I do it in a different way on the machine. And some of the machines which I saw were digitally equipped machines also. We have all these machines in MIT, but we are not doing skill development for outside. We are only using for all. So there is a room for discussion with you. Of course, the financial part is taken care by our management. And then coming after experiential learning, we have continuous feedback system. What we are doing is correct. And then continuous feedback is done. Then we have a regular revision. Suppose we and Philips come together, and when we have to regularly have a feedback, what we'll do after 2 years from
True.
now? Are we doing the same? And the last one is, okay, I would like to stop. I can get yours.
So
Thank you, sir.
the like experiential learning will take up. So primarily, one, you emphasized on 2 points I'll highlight. One, the need for autonomy from the university perspective, which have happened only recent years. And two, then some of the things, maybe the next round of discussion, I'll come a little bit detail on that. Dr. Vivek, the same question I'll come to you now. From your perspective, how do you tweak the curriculum to make it industry ready?
Well, I think, again, first, I must appreciate you all for organizing this event, and thank you for having me here. But again, without wasting any additional further time. So how do we really look at the curriculum? So primarily in India and primarily in higher education sector, or if I may say professional education sector, it is top down. It is defined, developed, and rather prescribed by the regulatory councils. Whether we like it or not, and that has become unfortunately a mindset. कि हाँ उन्होंने इतना बताया इतना करना है, and that's something which is weighing very heavily on our minds. Our minds means not just the administration or academic leaders, but particularly the faculty. कि हाँ, why are you telling us the students are going to be assessed on this and we will do this much? And students are also, tell us, what's going to be there for the examination. So unfortunately, we are in a cycle where we have, the curriculum is prescribed. It is little too prescriptive. Actually, I may be the only odd person out here because I am from a medical background. I am a surgeon by training and an educationist at heart. So I think having seen that, I'm sure many of you, their children may be in medical schools or so on, and you may be dealing with the councils. So whether it's the National Medical Commission now, earlier MCI or DCI or Bar Council, or just now Dr. Jere was here, AICT and so on. So they become like too prescriptive. And the university, we may say we have little autonomy, but by and large, I think that's tweaking some small areas. Fortunately now, the NEP has ushered in little new thought, new thinking, and we have a little flexibility. Maybe, it may vary from 20% to 40%, depending on the course, depending upon the specialty. But yes, I think now we really need to encash on the NEP thing. And if we want to make difference, how we are able to offer to the learners what they need. And that's where the universities, as Dr. Chitnis was mentioning, we're from the private sector, earlier government regulations, a lot of restrictions, inability to maybe bring about the necessary change. But now with that kind of a NEP, with that kind of a little bit of a autonomy, I think the educational institutes needs to catch up with the industry. Somehow, I think we are a little lagging behind as far as what the industry needs are. And so possibly interacting with the industry, a thorough needs assessment. I am not sure how frequently we are doing the needs assessment as to what is required. We may be taking some feedback, or we may be interacting with the select groups or something like that. But across the board, the first step for a curriculum development, I would say, is the needs assessment. And if we have a good, thorough system of needs assessment, I'm sure that we will be able to evolve the content, the teaching learning strategies, the evaluation methods. And I think all these things are cyclic. All these things are interrelated. It's not that, okay, you tweak assessment and without tweaking the curriculum. I think these all things, as a educational leaders, we must factor in. And as I said, we have great opportunities. Just say one or two quick points and why we need to do. Before coming, I was invited for one talk some couple of months back, and I was doing little research. So what is the half-life of knowledge? And half-life of knowledge, mind you, I think what I researched 1.5, 2 years back, paper which I got was 18 months then. And so now it's shrinking with so much of advent of technology. So 50% of what we learn or what we teach. So if the student is going to be here with us for 4 years, 18 months, now it may be 12 months or 9 months, or it may depend from specialty to specialty. In physics or core mathematics, it would still hold good. But in cutting edge technology and some of the other areas, it's going to be redundant. So by the time he's there, and by the time he starts with one curriculum, and by the time he graduates in 3 or 4 years, half the things would be redundant. So how do you bring that dynamism in the curriculum? How do you bring in the real life experiences? I think this is the challenge, and I think with academia, with industry, if we're able to work together, I'm sure we'll be able to bring in that freshness, bring in that what is required for the learners, and make them, I think, not just job ready, but to take up newer these 21st century challenges,
True.
if I may say.
True. Great. So I like that half-life of knowledge. The two important things that you mentioned was needs assessment. That needs assessment is very dynamic. And one thing we might want to discuss slightly more is the faculty. How do you reorient the faculty? Because that's a big challenge there. Dr. Sushma, I'll come to you next with your perspective on where we stand as far as the industry-academia collaboration is happening from academicians' perspective.
Yeah. So I think academicians' perspective is the industry perspective too, because we are developing our graduates to either fit into industry or do research for the community or be entrepreneurs, right? So with that objective in mind, the perspectives are common, and basically the competencies which industry wants, I think, is like we saw the Phillips education, the person on employment should be productive right from the first day. They don't want to invest in any training, or they don't have time to do it, right? So similarly, the graduates who pass out from the university, typically when I talk of it, like NICMAR has that advantage, because NICMAR institute, which was running earlier, was formed by the construction giants. They found that there was a great need to have certified construction professionals to bid for contracts outside India. And with that gap analyzed, so all these industry people came together, talked to Government of India and started this. So the birth is out of the need. And that's how I see NICMAR curriculum is a very well-refined curriculum developed with the industry inputs.
Okay.
So the gap analysis is very essential. And if you develop a curriculum which is industry ready, in NICMAR University, I see like we have industries lined up to absorb the graduates, because there is dearth of graduates in construction, real estate, because we typically work in construction, real estate, urban infrastructure, project management sector. So first point, that yes, industry academia collaboration can give birth to a very great curriculum, a great thought process, which has technical skill sets, which has professional skill sets, and which has strategic direction. So these three are all part of our curriculum. We teach our graduates to take risks, to take up challenges. We are teaching them economics, finance. We are teaching them technical expertise, the strategic direction. And I think that's what every organization wants. Similarly, the problem-solving skills, the pedagogy, so curriculum design, curriculum delivery in the classroom, and the evaluation and assessment. Okay. These are the three important components of any curriculum you develop. So the pedagogy is all case study based. Problem solving skills, project based learning, these are actually practiced. We are making students do it. There are internships embedded in the curriculum. So on the job training, which is very essential. So all such unique things much before NEP. So I think NEP, if you follow, as sir has said, it's going to give you very good outcomes. Okay. Interdisciplinary teaching. We have typical problems with faculty, that which school the faculty will belong to, how a civil engineer will learn finance, or should we teach economics? You know, these questions we keep having, but then interdisciplinary teaching will lead to a holistic personality, which the industry wants. The communication skills, team working, we say, see, it's all there in our outcomes-based education. We say there should be program outcomes, there should be course outcomes. We talk more, but do less. Okay. If every faculty is trained in doing that outcomes-based education in the real sense, I think that will bring wonders in our Indian education system. It's all designed very well. What lacks is the execution level. Okay. Understood. So let's work on the execution level. I think the perspectives are the same and the outcomes will exactly match. Thank you.
The perspectives match. Perhaps you gave a best example of a cost-benefit analysis. university's case when it was a need of the industry which has driven, and maybe that's where the perspectives are also converging. Great to know that. Professor Prabhat Ranjan, again, I'll come to you with the same question. Your perspective on this collaboration.
Thank you. If you ask the wrong question, we'll get the wrong answer. We are asking a 250 years old question. The industry academia gap that we talk about happened when industrial revolution was taking place in Europe. And India was importing technology, which we have been doing. Actually, if India has to lead the global world, we have to develop the technology in academia, industries to follow this. So actually, that is the question we should be asking. If we ask the wrong question, that means preparing people for technology, develop somewhere else, you bring them to India, and we have a skilled workforce to go and this thing. It's the wrong question to ask. Let me give you my background. I'm a nuclear fusion scientist, first PhD from this country in 1986 at Berkeley, and I'm a futurist. I was heading India's technology think tank in Delhi for 5 years, TIFAC. We prepared Technology Vision 2035 for the country, which Prime Minister wrote the forward, launched it. Pune has a good connection to that, so I would like to mention that. We released the education roadmap to that document on November 10th, 11th, 2017 in Pune to coincide with my chairman's, Dr. Anil Kakur's 75th birthday. That became an important part of new education policy. So what we had done was important part of new education policy. Flexibility is an important part of this. Based on all this, when I came to Pune to start the new university, D.Y. Patil International University in Akudi campus, there are a lot of D.Y. Patil campuses and a lot of institutions, so we have to distinguish. The D.Y. Patil International University in Akudi campus of Pune. We took the challenge because I was aware of the technological changes happening. So many things we have done that I would like to share. I disagree with some of my colleagues. We made changes right at the beginning. For example, computer science, we created the innovative curriculum in 2019. We launched it. That led to change across the whole country. AICT vice chairman was here. They picked up the thing. There was a committee of which I was also a member. 7 new programs started with AICT. So this happened in Pune. It was followed at national level. We had seen the digital fabrication technology like 3D printing and so on was talked about happening. 2014, we've seen the patents expiring. So we started working on this in Delhi. Atal Tinkering Lab started happen through Niti Aayog. Higher education, we're trying to do that. So we set up in our university. I'm chairman of AICT's Idea Lab committee, through which we have created 107 centers across the country. 150 more are happening. All the digital fabrication technology like 3D printing and so on is part of that scheme. The Ganesh Murti that was being distributed today by Philips, we have been doing this for a long time. My grandson of 5 years old has been printing using 3D printing. What we have done in the university is that the mechanical workshop that we had, traditional one, we have completely demolished the whole thing, including the floors also were broken. 7,500 square feet of a space. Just Philips, Kejriwal ji, just 1 second. So the mechanical workshop that we had, we have completely demolished 7,500 square feet, including the floor. Everything is being redone. We have 4 sections of that: additive manufacturing, subtractive manufacturing, formative manufacturing, and hybrid systems. So we'd like to collaborate with you. Second thing we have done is, first time in the country, we started BTech Semiconductor Engineering program, for which you are setting a semiconductor lab full facility, where a lot of skilling is required. The country is suddenly it's going very extra fast into semiconductor thing. Just now today morning, I saw UP is starting near Noida, a big semiconductor facility, in addition to Gujarat, and Assam, and Maharashtra, and so on forth. So there are a lot of skilling. In addition to engineering program, we need a lot of technical people. And we need to do skilling that. So we'd like to partner with the industry in that. Similarly, I would like to mention about experiential technology was being talked about. What we have done is that we have created lab in bag concept so that all the electronics equipment is in your laptop bag, a device like this. We don't use oscilloscope, other things. It's all your bag. You can work on hardware things in your home or anywhere else, just like your software. Since time is short, I would like to also mention that we have talking about Industry 5.0 was talked about Abhay Jere. I've written a book chapter on emerging and disruptive technology in a book on India's strategic challenges in coming decade, published by HarperCollins about 2 years back. But I've talked about defense technology undergoing 7th revolution. And that is driven by autonomous revolution. If you go through that document, the book chapter is there on Amazon, you'll find that a lot of things are happening which are going to completely change the way we look at our defense. Defense is not only any more border conflicts. It's in our homes, even across, say, 5,000 kilometers away or 10,000 kilometers away, somebody can send hypersonic missile which can come to you in within half an hour, 1 hour. So borders are no longer guarantee for a strategic challenge. How do we develop those technologies are equally important part of this. I have a lot of things to say, but I'll stop at this point because I'm sure he's running out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, the experiential learning part I'd like to take on subsequently. I'll next come to you, Anjani. You heard from the academician perspective. What is preventing this, whatever collaboration we have been talking about in multiple forums, but just one example, let's take some of the developed economies. In US, the way the Ivy League colleges and the industry collaborate them. Intel virtually runs on what Stanford is doing. Why don't we have similar kind of scenarios in India? What, from the industry perspective, one general complaint is industry really is not, they are only bothered about the immediate ROI. But this will be a little long-term exercise. So from that industry perspective, what's your view?
It's quite a deep question, frankly speaking. I think we have to understand one thing, that what happens in US and Europe is very different from what happens here. Here we are talking of a totally different scale altogether. That is one. Second is, the kind of inertia which has been there in the education sector, that needs to be broken, and I'm happy to see that, that is being broken now. Now that realization is there, probably this should have been done 20 years, 30 years back, and now we are seeing the consequences of that. And if we still don't do it, and we don't do it effectively, we will see the consequences probably 20, 30 years later, and then it will become a bigger crisis probably. So the whole point is, whatever we think, we must act fast on it. Whatever we do, we must do it fast. Coming to just diverging what he said about the regulator being very strict, I think nobody can be stricter than Reserve Bank of India with banking system. They virtually, they literally catch you by the throat. But at the same time, we are all witness to the kind of changes that have taken place in the banking industry. RBI has also, just drawing an analogy in the whole thing, that RBI has given a sandbox kind of an environment where they test. They also have to learn, actually. The regulator also has to learn along with the changes in the industry. So, it's everybody growing together, then only a system can work. Coming to the industry, so far industry, as I said, they're now been finding good response from the academia. They've been working in 2 different silos. Now those silos are breaking down. There's more of collaboration. There has been some collaboration, but not to that extent. Now we can see more and more synergies being created. But again, as we said, we are talking about a different scale altogether. That scale is not being met. The need of the hour is to meet the scale.
Exactly.
Once we meet scale, probably all these discussions will wipe out.
Yes. Karan, you're from the industry perspective, what will...
So I'll just give a little background. I'm the youngest on the panel, so I'm a little nervous, but I'll give a little background. Roughly 10 years ago, I was at Harvard University. I was specializing in a subject called e-commerce. And that time I was doing a project on e-commerce in India. And that's the time one of our best friends, Mr. Ambani, just joking, launched Jio, right? And that was transformational in India because we moved from 35 crore online Indians to 95 crore online Indians in the last 8 years, which makes us the world's largest digital population. While I was doing that project, the one thing I was looking was the price point of internet data. And I was shocked to see kya hone wala hai India mein. I immediately came down to India and I set up IIDE. We're an industry-backed B school which specializes in digital careers only. one of our most important careers which we specialize in is digital marketing. So it's been 10 years I've been running this B school. It's a private B school based out of Mumbai and Delhi. And we have no AICT, UGC, no one governing us. But we have 2,000 students who are studying with us across Mumbai and Delhi. In the last 10 years, to be able to have the highest package placements, have the best quality students, we ended up building lots of training material, interview material, case study material, placement material, and we used it for ourselves. Through that, we managed to increase our enrollments, placements, packages, give ROI to our students. And then the question was, what next? It's already been 9 years, 10 years. So, sir, what I want to tell you is in the last 2 years, we have been approached by many universities, many autonomous colleges in India, because now the autonomy is open, many private universities. And our expertise in creating training material, interview material, placement material in digital careers, which we specialize, is what we are now partnering with multiple colleges. So if you go to any of the top colleges in Mumbai, which are autonomous, they all have now launched a new bachelor's program, which is called Bachelor's in Digital Strategy. It's a 3-year degree program, which is run by them, conventionally managed by them, but the training material is provided by us. For example, what we specialize in, you all are running B schools or universities. It's extremely difficult today to attract teachers. If I am working in Google, Facebook, in the Hyderabad campus, how do I come to Pune and deliver lecture at, MIT? So what we've managed to do is we've spent crores of rupees and we've invested in creating intense video material, high quality content, and we've gone down to MDs, founders, CEOs of top-notch institutions, companies, recorded their content, brought that to local colleges, brought that to local places. Met top HR management of top digital companies, asked them, what are the top questions your companies are asking? Brought them to our interview preparation, And in this way, we've partnered with all colleges today in Mumbai, partnered with universities across India, and we are now running bachelor's program, master's program, specializing in digital strategy, where we're able to improve enrollment, able to improve fees, able to improve placements, and overall let colleges and universities manage their conventional format of doing it while we bring in the industry and the skill.
Great.
Create a win-win situation,
And one important point you mentioned at the start, maybe, bereft of the regulator, that challenge, maybe that helped. Okay, great. So we have to go a little bit fast. We are running behind. So each panelist, I'll just give 30 seconds on a concluding remark. What next? One, starting with you, Dr. Chitnis. 30 seconds to each panelist. What next?
See, we are having 40 minutes here. Time ticker is there. And 6 of us, we spoke 5 minutes each, so 30 minutes gone. 7, 8 minutes are left because you took 3 minutes. So I will take 1 minute instead of 30 seconds. So directly coming, what we are discussing is not Ivy League because research grants and industry participation, completely different thing. We are discussing about courses which are called as skill development. Why? Because we want industry ready person there. So yes, that's the need. We will go ahead and as a university, whatever we can do with help of MSSDC, Maharashtra State, and NSDC, we are ready to go. That's the answer. But one hypothesis I'm keeping in front of you, a different anecdote, that banking is the largest industry in the world. Banking is the largest industry in India. It is controlled by Reserve Bank. I had 12 long years in Reserve Bank of India's research arm, National Institute of Bank Management. And I used to shout when I was young that banking has around 15 lakh people working in this country only. And none of them were knowing banking when they joined banks, including sir here. I respect your experience, but everyone was trained on the job. And this is one of the finest banking industry in the entire world called Indian banking. So I went ahead and created a course, MBA in Banking Finance, which will be signed by Governor of India. And that is one of the top Ivy League course in the entire world, 300% placement. Of course, this is a complete different thing which I spoke, that we had a 15 lakh people working in the industry with no any kind of even degree or certificate or any kind of one-day experience, including the governor of RBI. That is my PhD is in banking finance from NIBM, so I know the details. So try to understand that even if we have not done last so many years, we have not lost the race. But from here to next 25, 30 years, we will definitely develop because of our population, 140 crore. Everyone cannot get degree. We have only 25% GER, gross enrollment ratio. That means 75% of out of degree, and for them, definitely skill development.
Yes.
Not only for those who are doing degree. Thank you.
Okay, so the demographic dividend will matter at one point. Dr. Vivek, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah. So actually, if now we want to integrate this, I think number one is we need to change the mindset of people. I mean, right from the top hierarchy to maybe the lowermost, and faculty development, as it was alluded earlier, that large scale faculty development, because unless of course our faculty is proactive about it, then only they'll be able to maybe bring in that whatever change is being envisaged. So faculty development. And in that faculty development also, we really need to emphasize on the principles of change management. I don't know, as I said, I am from medical background. We were never taught about all these. I mean, a lot of things were jargon to me when I came into academics and administration. But change management, how many of us really know the finer nuances? What is the perspective? I mean, how do we work as effective teams? How do we work and deliver as a heterogeneous team? So some of these things which are easier said, and everyone says that, okay, what is there to be taught in this and so on. So I think that's something that we really need to be working on. And second thing is that we really need to develop some kind of a trust, faith in each other, industry as well as educational institutes. I mean, by and large, education institutes are not for profit. And industry, possibly, I'm making a little sweeping statement, industry will have their CSR and other things, but industry by and large is for profit. Their share will go up only if they are getting whatever their profit and so on. So industry is for profit, and so they also need to understand how they can work with the education institutes without looking at the bottom line. And in educational institute, we really need to be proactive. We need to be catering to the needs, and if we develop that kind of a symbiotic relations, I'm sure that's the way forward.
Okay, Dr. Sushma.
Yeah. So I think education is to create awareness in every human being what life is and how to lead the life, right? It's us who have made it more materialistic in terms of placements, packages, this, that. So the basic meaning of education has to be there. Lifelong learning, we have to teach our students. And let us have an open mindset that the world is going to change, jobs are going to change. So let them keep learning through micro certification, macro certifications, open to the MOOCs, open digital learning. So those are the qualities I think we need to inculcate in our students.
Okay, thanks. Yes, sir.
So actually, Dr. Vivek's, I will respond to his. We have tremendous freedom as a university. We need to use it. AICT does not come into us in any way. So actually, we have the freedom. What we have done in our university, we create things and AICT follows later on. We had Dr. Abhay Jere sitting here. Computer science we started. Working professional program we started first. We have Tata Motors, Anand Auto there. So there's a lot of, and then AICT followed. So there's a lot of freedom we as a university enjoy, including private universities. We should use it actually. Now what is needed also is addition to students being skilled, the working professionals need to be skilled. Because all the industry is undergoing transformation. I have requirements from one industry for 9,000 people every year to be transformed into new technology areas. So that's the important part that we need to address. We have started this program. This needs to be done larger scale. The ICT also followed this up. The second part was that I did not mention this part. The skilling starts at different stages of life. It starts from home. And actually, we need to make sure that you include children in our day-to-day working. Life skills, as it's called. In Japan, every school, children work in. I have grown in Gurukul style school from the age of 10. I used to do all the work. Now, today, what we have seen, because of these things, students get isolated digitally from even in the same family. They need empathy, they need emotional support. We are seeing a lot of problem happening when the students are coming out into the university. That's a very important point to worry about. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, just 3 points here. One is, of late you would have seen a lot of youngsters are coming into share market. Now, I think this is a good start. Probably they might burn their fingers, but they are venturing into newer areas. So that's a good start for as far as youngsters are concerned. Second thing is, I think when we are talking of industry, academia, collaboration, I think we have to think population scale. You know, at the cost of repetition again, we have to, totally, the scale of things that we are trying to work out is very different. Probably universities also have to think to work on the model of a hub and spoke model or some kind of star model in which they can probably address a bigger constituency of students or people who want to upskill themselves. So I think this is, and thirdly, probably industry will come if they see value. Where they might be profit making, definitely they will make profit. They are there for profit only, and that is how the economy benefits out of that. But they will come only when they see value. They will synergize. They do mergers, acquisition only when they see value. They will associate with universities and colleges, and only if they see value. So my request to you, to the academia, is please create value. They will automatically come to you.
Obviously. Karan, the last word, 30 seconds.
So I think it's the responsibility of, we have colleges and universities everywhere. I think it's the responsibility of decision makers to ease in them up. I think the government has come up with ABC, Academic Bank of Credits, where you can partner with multiple skill providers who are, under the NSDC's sector skill councils. With that, I think we can put together lots of good quality education where it doesn't need to only be through you, but it can be through other vocational skill training partners, and we can create impact for the large population that we have.
Okay.
25 seconds.
Thanks. Thanks. So, for the next, before we go into the next panel discussion, let's give a token of appreciation for all our panelists. And I'll request Sanghamitra Mohanty to come on stage and hand over a token of appreciation to all our panelists. Dr. Vivek Saoji. Dr. Sushma Kulkarni. Professor Prabhat Ranjan. Anjani Kumar Srivastava. Karan Shah. Thanks to all the panelists.